I let my hair go gray at 49 years old while in a very visible senior Wall Street job. My friends said I looked 10 years older. Everyone told me I was committing career suicide. My family kept telling me it was a major mistake. Today marks exactly 2 years since I decided to stop coloring my hair. Here are the 5 lessons that got me through it. When I first started coloring my hair in my late 20s, it was about every 6 months, every 5 months, then every 4 months. Eventually, I had to go in every 2 to 3 weeks. My scalp itched, my hair shed. It felt like a constant fight. The gray hair won, I lost, and I decided to own that loss. See, this was my second attempt at going gray. I wanted to do this 7 years earlier. I told my 2 friends, they said, that's gross. I chickened out. So here is lesson number 1. Tell no one. I didn't even tell my husband.
In 1 week, I'm going for my gray hair transition. I have not yet told my husband.
It wasn't a debate. For the first time ever, I wasn't seeking approval or permission. If you tell people, they will try to sway you. My breaking point came 2 years ago today. I was in a meeting at work getting ready for a big client event in Florida. I was trying to focus on the meeting while at the same time stressing out about getting to the hair salon before I got on that flight. But as I looked around the room, there were at least 7 to 8 men in the room, all gray or bald. I broke or I gave up, I don't know, but I made the decision right then and there. That's it. One last hair dye for that trip and never again. This is me on that trip. This is me within a few days, weeks of that trip. That's the last time I dyed my hair. I decided to do gray blending instead of growing it out naturally because I was working on Wall Street. There were no women with gray hair, definitely not senior women.
Nobody we work with has gray hair. Sorry, females. All the guys have gray hair or they're bald. No big deal.
And in corporate, there's this unspoken expectation that women need to look well kept and super triggering, dare I say, youthful. I didn't want to jeopardize my career. I hate myself for saying it. And I can hear the nasty comments right now. And honestly, I deserve them. But I wasn't out to change the world yet. So I found a specialist who did just gray blending. This is lesson number 2. Not any hairdresser can work with gray hair. Please trust me on this. A proper gray blending is so much more than just going lighter and lighter and lighter until your gray hair naturally blends in. It's so much more than putting in highlights. You need somebody with experience. I grew out my light brown hair for 2 months so you could see the natural pattern growing in. My hair was light brown, but the pattern growing in was salt and pepper. And during the gray blending procedure, the stylist takes almost strand by strand with bleach, with toner, with color, and she matches the formerly dyed brown hair to the pattern growing in. This took 8 hours and cost over $1,000. Painful, expensive, but it looked fabulous. But it's not that easy. The stylist said it won't last. And she was right. After about 3 months, my hair got brassy, the demarcation line started to show. So I went back in for a touch-up, the second gray blending. This took 2-3 hours, cost a little over $300. I looked amazing again, but this time the stylist said I was probably done for good and I can just let my hair grow out, that it would fade a little bit, but it was enough to get me through. I was 9 months into my gray hair journey. All was going according to plan. I got this, I thought. Then I did something to mess everything up. My hair turned yellow and green. This is lesson number 3. Managing gray hair is a completely different process. You can't use your old products or techniques to manage it. Expect a learning curve. See, it was summer in the Northeast and it was really humid. Without the dye, my hair wasn't as shiny, not as smooth. I couldn't get it tamed. It was just so frizzy. All the things I used to do no longer worked. So I got a keratin treatment, something I had done for decades. But this time, with the gray blending still fresh and the newly white hair that's a little fragile and more delicate, My hair reacted to the keratin in a way it never did. Remember lesson number 2? The stylist who did my keratin treatment was great. I worked with her for decades, but she wasn't experienced with gray hair. So I went back for a 3rd gray blending. That was over a year ago and the last time I needed to do gray blending. How did people in my life react? Not good. My husband was shocked. In our circle, only grandmothers had gray hair. Friends thought I looked way older. They said I looked over a decade older. My family constantly told me it was a mistake. At work, no one dared say anything, but the stares were obvious. When I was having a conversation, you could tell they were staring at my hair. Look, no one liked it. So how'd I handle this period? When I kept my chin up high, I tried to show confidence. I didn't engage in negativity. And I just said, I'm happy with my decision. Gray hair doesn't mean old. That's just outdated conditioning. I began realizing how we were expected to accept certain things as the norm, as proper, as beautiful. Companies selling us things were telling us what is beautiful. And I was brainwashed and I fell for all of it. I still do, I'm sure. So I started feeling like I was part of making a very important statement. I was out to remove this stigma, to allow us the freedom of choice, to make gray hair acceptable for those who want it, to show that gray hair is not old. Gray hair is just another color. Now here's the contradictory part. Even though I was fighting for the right not to color my hair, I made damn sure everything else looked good. My hair was blown out, my makeup was on point, my outfits were polished. I wasn't giving anyone ammunition to dismiss me as letting myself go. I know, the irony of fighting beauty standards while leaning into lipstick and blowout. But look, it helped me feel good during that awkward phase. And here's lesson number 4. The transition from dyed hair to natural hair is hard and awkward. Accept this. It sucks. Then figure out a way to do those things that you can control to help yourself feel better through that process. It's a process where you feel ugly a lot. It's really, really hard. It's not forever, but I'm telling you, it feels like forever. Waiting for gray hair to grow is like watching a turtle cross a major road, you know? Now, if you're one of those women who are strong to be yourself and don't give a goddamn what anyone thinks, girl, you are my hero. Then at about the 20-month mark, everything seemed to change. People who were constantly telling me I needed to color my hair started telling me I look nice. The negative comments stopped. I started getting positive feedback from those very same people who told me I was way too young to go gray. Maybe the hair grew out and started looking better, or maybe people just got used to it. Or maybe I did a good job showing up strong and confident and they finally started seeing past the hair. Maybe they started seeing my wit, my honesty, my energy, the full me. And the energy I built over the last 2 years finally became louder than my hair ever was. So here is lesson number 5. This actually has nothing to do with your hair. When you go through this process, you're forced to find confidence that isn't tied to a good blowout, even though I got a lot of blowouts, but it's not tied to a good blowout or a smaller waist. It's about finally finding sexiness and beauty in yourself, just because. And honestly, sometimes there was literally nowhere else to pull it from. And this is a beautiful way to enter our second half of life. I've spent the last 2 years obsessing over my hair. Hours researching gray blending, trying products, trial and error. It's crazy to dedicate this much mental real estate to hair, I know. But I wasn't just thinking about hair. I was fighting to take back control over a practice that made me miserable. I'm not telling you to go gray. I'm telling you that whatever is draining you, whatever you keep doing because everyone expects it of you, that's what you may want to explore, because your life is yours, not your husband, not your kids, not your colleagues, yours. So yeah, this video isn't actually about hair at all.